You are listening to 600 Second Saga. Today's feature is The Wand by Jordan Altman. The easel stood in front of the brook. Oils of infinite hues reflected the blue sky, autumn-colored trees, green grass, and rush of blue water that meandered in the meadow. Her canvas depicted interpretations of reality. Strokes of the recently acquired filbert brush appeared to uplift the painter's talents to an artistic elevation she'd never dreamed to reach. The brush was rescued from an antique store on the verge of closure. The shop was empty except for herself and the owner. Behind the register, the man looked as though he were part of the store's collection. Located far at the shop's back, past dust-covered wares, a chest of leather was found ajar. Pulled by an unseen hand, she dug through the box, subconsciously seeking for an unknown object, hidden under trinkets of tarnished steel, rusted iron, and oxidized copper, unseen beneath garments of stained war uniforms, torn historic fashions, and dirt-baked outfits. She searched until her fingers closed over and her arm returned out from the chest. Fine, soft hairs of horse formed the bristles, black and silky smooth. The handle was of black walnut, the hard wood unworn despite being found amongst centuries-old charms and attires. The owner, frail and bent, smiled through thin lips as he took payment in paper and returned the change in coins with dates worn down. Dabbing into a mixture of Prussian blue, ultramarine, and viridian, the swirls of oil created the running water and the splash against the near bank. The liquid on the canvas mirrored its companion that ran through the valley. From the easel to the scene, the painter took a glance to get the angles correct. She lowered her brush and frowned. On the near side of the brook stood a gray jackrabbit, 2 feet tall with ears almost half that in length. It hopped to and fro, up and down the bank. Across the stream, in what may as well have been an ocean away, were 3 bunnies whining for their mother. Poor creatures, thought the painter to herself, feeling for the baby's abandonment. She thought about intervening, but knew the stream was too wide and moved far too quickly for her to traverse. The painter wanted to help and felt inadequate, for there was nothing she could do. She raised her brush to the canvas, but stopped herself. It seemed wrong to continue with the painting. The beauty of the scenery was tarnished by the sorrow of the bunny's cry. "I'm sorry, little ones," she apologized. "I wish I could help." The jackrabbit turned to her, and the babies stopped their wail. They all looked at the painter in anticipation. It felt strange to be gazed at like that. It was as though they were waiting for her to do something. "If I could only help you out, I would," she replied to the animals. She returned to her painting, but became startled by the brush in her hand. The filbert radiated a faint glow and began to vibrate lightly. The paintbrush emitted a low, wavy tone, almost inaudible. Like static building a cloud around her arm, she felt a strange sensation. Warmth from the brush made her hand sweat. She felt an enlightenment as a guided conscience emerged within her own thoughts. On a lark, the painter raised the brush to palette and dabbed the bristles into a dark green mixture of oils. Holding the filbert at eye level, she slid the brush through the air. From her perspective, 30 feet away, the brush crossed the stream. A move of 3 inches spanned the entire 8-foot width of the brook. Fear and wonderment reverberated throughout the shocked mind of the painter as the mother rabbit hopped across the stream on a bridge of dark grass. The bunnies rejoiced and the family retreated into the woods. With eyes wide, the painter approached the rushing water with caution. She knelt down and with a shaking, outstretched arm, ran her fingers through the dark green grass that bridged the stream. Lowering her hand into the water, which felt cold but refreshing, she felt the soil and thick roots on the underside that kept the link between the banks suspended. Confusion increased when she turned to her left hand and raised the filbert for inspection. Under a more scrupulous examination, the painter noticed how the brush, minus the bristles, may resemble a magical wand from fairy tales of childhood memories. She returned on wobbly legs to her canvas and painted in the magical bridge. The painting was almost complete, yet it lacked something. Dabbing into cadmium red, she reached out to the sky. With an arc, the painter changed the living scenery. She followed with orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet, the brook's beauty magnified by the vivid rainbow that swept across the sky above the valley, and the magic that was reborn unto the world. This was The Wand by Jordan Altman. Jordan Altman is a geologist who has worked from the land of the midnight sun to the Canadian Shield. Recently taking up creative writing, his adventures within reality are now being matched by those of his imagination. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.